Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Peak. Hui. My name is Soul. I am back once again to challenge today's randomly generated mountain in the hit party game about climbing mountains, Peak. I am having a time. I had a lot of nightmares last night. There's a lot of stalking involved. Obsession and yeah. A wonderful story of ooh, a wonderful story of discovering there are people out there who know you better than you ever thought someone could know you. It's yeah, a whole paranoia inducing. So I didn't sleep great. Fun fact. One of the reasons that you can generally remember your nightmares better than normal dreams is because your brain does like cleanup, basically, in the stage just after leaving REM sleep. So a lot of the memories will get foggier if you have slept normally. Hey, bye. Oh, were there injuries at work on other days? I feel like I've missed some things. Anyway, I'm booting up the game. I'm also going to take my meds. Saturday. And I am taking those meds. Jeez. That's not ideal. Took my meds with a Lost and Found Energy watermelon flavored energy drink, which is one of my favorite flavors that they have. Yeah, I can imagine. Some boning. Is that, forgive my ignorance, is that made of actual bone? Which I know is very sharp? Or is that like a wooden structure to it? Because it could be either. I know archivists use like bone folders, and they are made of bone, just because that happens to be one of the better materials to fold paper with. Taking my vitamins as well. Bleh. I saved the gummy ones for last because they bring me joy after the pill that tastes like fish oil. Usually plastic. Ah, but this one was metal. Notably, the material that knives are made of. Lovely. I hope things ended up okay in the end there, though. Like, hopefully, right? Doing basketball. Done a basketball. Actual bone boning is in real old garments and isn't nearly as sharp. Lovely. I know bone can get very sharp, but it isn't necessarily like that. Which you could probably assume based on the fact that your bones aren't sharp. Fun fact for all of the gamers in the audience, your bones, not sharp, generally speaking. They can be made sharp, but generally speaking, they aren't sharp. I don't know why that statement was directed at the gamers specifically. I just feel like gamers don't necessarily know about their bone sharpness. I'm doing my best here. I mentioned the nightmares. I'm not exactly fucking sharp as your bones aren't. Blech. But I will continue to do my best. And none of you can stop me. Real and true fact. I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can't stop me. You can't. You can't do it. Not even if you tried. I am unstoppable. Wound is pretty shallow and you got it dressed and everything. That's good. I mean, you would assume like a dress shop could get a wound dressed. Did book a different dress for later this year, so hopefully when she shows up to collect it, she won't go, yeah, I did get tetanus from that. God. I don't know enough about tetanus, but I know sepsis is scary. That shit's necrotic. I am unstoppable. I need to do a peak competition wherein I attempt to get to the top as like 8 people use the April Fool's Day feature in an attempt to kick me off the mountain. And this must specifically be done while I'm at my sharpest. Because otherwise I will just get angry. Alright, where am I going? Lovely. The sepsis, that shit gets necrotic. By the way, I heard a fucked up news story the other day. Um, and this headline isn't going to make much sense. Um, but a baby did not die the other day. Pause for reaction. So the basic story is there was this baby who had like fallen in a river or something and very nearly drowned. And there was a like doctor on scene who managed to pull the baby out of the river and attempted to do like mouth to mouth or whatever on the baby. And the baby proceeded to like at a, not do well necessarily, to the point where the doctor was like, damn it, this baby's dead. I've killed the baby. I am going to go into my corner and feel guilty about this. And several like first responders, like police officers and medics who hit the scene, like later, were like, hey, I think I can see the kid breathing. And he was like, no, I have a fucking doctorate. Okay. I think I know when a kid isn't breathing. And then 5 hours later, after the kid had already been sent to the morgue, and the family was like coming to collect the body, they hear the kid fucking crying on one of the mortuary slabs. They open up the locker and pull the kid out, and he's fine. He was just a little too quiet after being saved. And to some asshole who was like, I think I would know if a baby was dead, um, the fucking like just pronounced this kid dead because he was like, I have a medical degree, okay? I don't think I've ever been wrong in my life, and none of you are allowed to check me. That's how certain I am that I am right. And I need everyone to remember that mortuary slabs, you see them like on the wall or whatever, and it looks like a lot of individual cubbies that all have dead bodies in them. There's no walls back there, because why would you need them? The corpses don't need privacy, right? The cubby like system is just for organization, and so you don't need to like open up a giant cabinet door to a room full of corpses, because that's understandably traumatic. So like, well, you look at it and go like, oh, that's a bunch of cubbies. There's no dividers in between them on the inside of those cabinets. It's it's just like the moment your eyes adjust, you can see rows and rows of like refrigerated corpses in there. I'm describing this because I feel the need to state so terrifying. Understandable that the baby was crying at that point. And yes, thankfully, baby's not going to remember getting put in the corpse box. But oh my god. And it's one of those situations of like first responders on scene were like, hey, that kid might be breathing. We could probably just double check. And this doc was like, no, I'm not a fucking idiot, okay? I can identify when a kid isn't breathing, and this one isn't. Like, not even looking over his shoulder to check. It's just one guy got real pretentious about his medical degree, and they put a baby in the corpse box. And you also have to remember that the baby was discovered like 5 hours later, when the family was coming to collect the body, or like to identify the body before like an autopsy could begin. So there was like a grieving family who was walking in like, hey, there was a baby that drowned and like is dead. We as the hospital are standing by the doctor and saying that's a dead baby. We need you to confirm that the baby is yours. So this family also had a fun moment of, oh god, my kid is dead, before turning up to a morgue and hearing the corpse box cry. And like, I don't know about all of you, but my first thought isn't necessarily, oh, that doctor must have been an idiot, in that situation wherein, yeah. But also, my first thought would be somewhere along the lines of, oh god, my baby's a demon come back to haunt the hospital. And this guy is like in the process of getting his medical license revoked now. Because, yeah, that is a situation that would make you not want to trust a hospital. Because they were like standing by their doctor, you know, understandably. And then you have the most concrete evidence. I Okay, maybe I assumed that statement would be a little more universal than it is. Um, when my first thought would in fact be Demon Baby, would be where my brain goes first. And like not necessarily like for a serious amount of time, but my brain would start with Demon Baby and move out from there. And given Pirate's reaction, I am identifying this as maybe an OCD symptom. But yeah, no. Fucked up headline of the week. Baby falls in river and does not die. Which again, you wouldn't think is a fucked up headline on hearing it. But then you hit the important part of like, does not die despite what medical professionals say. Insist, really. found 5 hours later crying in the morgue. I will say the reason I know about the fact that I mean that's fair. No, I have the very notable paranoid supernatural OCD. Um it's like, oh, huh. I may have assumed that was more universal a thought than it is. But yeah, it's absolutely messed up headline of just baby does not die in river found 5 hours later crying in morgue. It was I heard about that story via my ma actually. So shout out to mom for giving me the scoop on some wacky medical malpractice. But yeah, no, I don't grieve like a normal person because my first thought is various degrees of okay, we need to stop this body from coming back. It's like, you know, because I view the supernatural and the undead as like a real concern that could come up. And in case you didn't hear already, Pirate, this guy is like this doctor is going through the process of getting his medical license revoked because obviously if you are going to be a smug bastard to the extent that you misidentify a patient as dead, maybe you shouldn't be a doctor. Oh, hi, bud. Nice to see you. But yeah. So cool that the most fucked up headline I have for like the week is baby found alive. That's good at least. That was the worst thing in the news according to my hearing it. And once again, shout out to my mom for informing me of this because oh my god, that's a wild story. Yeah, basically, I will also say my mom is an ER nurse. This does mean that there is a chance that the extent to which this guy was a pretentious dick was over exaggerated, but it was a present element in the story. Fun fact about hospital drama, nurses do tend to dislike doctors. Especially the more experienced nurses, because they have more seniority than the doctors. And it's like, I've seen a million of these cases, you're wrong on this thing, and the doctor's like, well, I've been to college. It's like, fuck you, I also went to college. So just to give you a little insight on the oh yeah. I saw a piece on the Binface by-election the other day. Or rather I saw a piece on Binface and the history thereof. Um because a news show that I listened to like covered it recently because they're doing their like wacky headlines episode the other day. They do like weekly weird news or whatever. So it's like, yeah, we haven't really covered this because our nation continues to be falling apart. But there is a guy with a trash can on his head that might be prime minister. It was like the headline story. They went over some of the history. So yeah, I've heard about that to some extent. I do especially like that that fucking Nigel is out here like I'm resigning in shame but not really because I want to let the people decide if you know what I did was wrong or not. And he's like running for a safe seat or whatever. Just MP, I have no idea what the difference is. I saw the two letters and made an assumption. Prime Minister versus Minister Prime. All right, that's going to be a feature of a RimWorld ideology now. Prime Minister as the leader role, Minister Prime as the moral guide. I don't know enough about British politics to get stuff sorted on like the what is what. I know it's a parliamentary system. I did force a woman to explain what feudalism is to me the other day, in case we're curious where my political knowledge is. Because I realized that feudalism was coming up a lot in my day-to-day life for whatever reason. And I still didn't really have a good idea of what it was. So I forced a German crow woman to explain feudalism to me, which I appreciate very much. Thank you, Corvia. I don't know if Corvia actually like watches these back later or anything. Um, but Crow, if you're watching, thank you. You did a pretty good job of explaining it. I would have said more while you were doing that, but I was in various stages of falling asleep because I had the feudalism like brain thing at like 2 a.m. and then I fell asleep and then I woke up at 5 a.m. after nightmares I do not remember and saw the explanation and was like, I am learned. And then I fell back asleep and woke up to more explanation. It was like, oh hell yeah. Prime Minister versus Member of Parliament. What do you mean you made another one? You made another Furby? Ami? Well, it's okay. I I knew feudalism had things to do with how medieval times worked. I knew it was the governmental structure of the medieval times. But like I didn't know any details. Like I was aware of the basics of like yeah, it's like lords and stuff, right? But like the details escaped me. Because it was just like, no, I only need to know the like there's lords and stuff in feudalism, and it was bad. Feudalism was bad. There were lords in it. Um end of explanation. I'm American. You have to remember that I'm American. Feudalism was not like a long-standing part of my nation's history. It didn't come up. Like there was a king that we rebelled against, but the system of government that Britain was operating under wasn't like a huge part of my education on how we beat Britain's ass. Good. My history knowledge kind of starts at the Mayflower and isn't very good. I also don't know enough about the divisions between different types of Christianity. So it's like I have a vague knowledge of some memes about stained glass. But aside from that, OMG, it's Pandora! Everyone say hi to Pandora in the chat. Of course, Pandora being my long lost sapphic lover, who we originally met in kindergarten, fell in love immediately and deeply, only to have a falling out sometime in high school, wherein we separated just before college. A fact that I will forever regard as the worst mistake I've ever made. But we have thankfully reconnected to some extent via the means of the video game peak. Everyone say hi to Pandora. I am threatening you with a firearm. Yay! I have kind of identified the thing with Washington in my analyses of American history and such, of just like effectively being an elected king. Because if we remember my amazing setting, I've been calling it Terra for a hot minute because it's an alternate version of Earth that I think is better. Much like the name Terra. It's in my DMs. What do you mean it's in my DMs? Ami, what have you done to me? Aw, that's pretty cute, actually. The tsunami Furby. It's a Furbami. Furbama. Obama was pretty great. Charismatic guy. It killed a lot of people with drone strikes, but I can overlook that in the context of the modern presidency. I can be nostalgic about the drone strikes. It's fine. Yeah, I saw. I like them. It also reminds everyone that you're always watching. Ow. Where's the mountain again? This way. Oh no. Well, that's not good. That's really not good. Did my thorns just go up? Oh, I'm being forced into the ground. God damn it. The moment my thorns are going down, my heat is going up to match the thorns as it goes down. It really is. Well, we say that. It's not actually a cloud. It's a mushroom. It's a cloud fungus. It just looks like a cloud and moves slightly in a way that I'm sure is not deeply uncanny if it were real. All right. Well, it looks like this may be the end of today's Daily Peak. Head and hands. Before I do like a full outro, I want to shout out I am part of a game jam that has just started up officially. Um the pseudo bite game jam. Pseudo bite. It's just started today. Where is it? Where's the furry? Pseudo Furry Game Jam number 2 by Pseudo. Submissions open from July 10th at 3 p.m. EST to July 20th at 3 p.m. EST. I am part of this game jam. The theme is Signal, in case anyone's curious. And I have been developing a concept with our collective good friend, Digital Otter, aka Digi. So we are working on a thing. And I will probably be showing it off when the gym is done. So look out for that announcement in roughly a 10-day. And if anyone's interested, you're not like past the join date, you're just down a day. Lovely. Now, with that little shout out of the way, I would like to thank everybody who turned up to today's Daily Peak. I appreciate everyone's viewership, and I will see all of you guys next time. Bye. And then I realized that I had my hand nowhere near